Hello, human. I am Mr.Quark, your guide into the deepest reaches of the unknown. Today, you're about to hear a tale that will challenge everything you thought you knew about fear, survival, and the darkness that stretches beyond the stars. Picture this, a ship, but not just any ship. A ghost ship, lost in the void between galaxies. It drifts silently, alone in the cold expanse of space, its engines long since dead, its crew gone, its story nearly forgotten. It is a vessel that has seen things no living soul should ever have witnessed. This ship, the Altair, was once a symbol of human achievement, a shining beacon of industry, sent to the farthest corners of the cosmos to gather resources, to explore, to expand. But all that remains now is a hollow shell, haunted by something far older, far darker than anything mankind could have ever imagined. On board, a deadly secret, a force that hungers, that waits in the shadows, that watches. It carried death itself, silent, invisible, and deadly. The kind of death that doesn't make a sound until it's too late. You will hear how 7 souls stepped aboard the Altair, unaware that they were walking into a trap, a nightmare woven into the fabric of space itself. Each of them had their own secrets, their own reasons for joining the mission. Some were driven by ambition, some by curiosity, some by duty, but none could have known what would unfold. None could have known they were racing toward a deadly encounter with the perfect predator, a creature that could destroy them one by one, in ways they never thought possible. This is not just a story about survival. It's about the fear that grips the heart when you realize that death doesn't always announce itself. That sometimes the true horrors are the ones that linger just out of sight, waiting to strike when you least expect it. It's about the courage to face the unknown, even when every instinct tells you to run. So, sit tight. Close your eyes if you must, but remember, you cannot escape what is already out there, waiting for you. You are about to enter the world of Altair, where nothing is as it seems, and even the stars above are not safe. This is a journey into the darkest corners of space, a descent into terror that will leave you questioning whether it is ever truly possible to escape the shadows. Are you ready? Brace yourself. This is the story of the Altair, a ghost ship that carries only death. Chapter 1, Prologue. A whisper in the void. Silence. It's not the peaceful silence of a quiet room or a still forest. No, this is a silence born of nothingness. The kind of silence that stretches across light years of cold, empty space. The kind of silence that presses against you like a weight, suffocating, relentless. In the blackness between the stars, a ship floats. Massive, wounded, a speck in the vastness of the cosmos. The Altair. Its hull, once sleek and proud, is now a jagged, scarred reminder of battles fought, both in the void and within. The metal skin is pockmarked with burns, dents, and cracks, as though it's endured more than any ship should. Its edges are frayed, as if the ship itself is a living creature, slowly unraveling from within. Its engines, silent now, their power drained, hum faintly, struggling to stay alive, like the shallow breath of a dying man. The ship moves through space like a ghost, unanchored and forgotten, slowly drifting into the endless dark. Inside, the air is thick with stillness. The quiet hum of ancient machinery fills the emptiness, but there are no voices, no footsteps echoing through the corridors. The lights flicker intermittently, casting brief, weak glows on walls covered in dust and grime. The halls, once full of life and purpose, now feel like tombs. Empty, lifeless. But there is something else. Something hidden in the shadows. Something is breathing. A sound so faint, so subtle, it could almost be missed. But it's there. A slow, deep inhalation. It pulses through the air unnatural. Not human. Not mechanical. It's a sound that sends a chill through the metal bones of the ship. reverberating through its very structure. A breath that doesn't belong. The Altair is more than just a ship. It is a crypt, a prison, a vessel carrying an ancient secret, waiting, listening. The pulse grows faint, yet constant, a rhythmic beat in the otherwise silent expanse. Hungry, the void watches. It watches from every corner of the universe. It sees the ship, sees the life inside, sees the dead, the living, and everything between. The stars above shimmer with distant coldness. Yet here, aboard the Altair, the true terror doesn't come from the dark sky. It comes from the heart of the ship itself. A predator stirs. But not just any predator. This one is patient, methodical. It's been waiting, growing stronger in the quiet shadows. It knows its time will come. The ship is its home now, its domain. The crew's fate was sealed long before they ever boarded. They think they're alone, but they aren't. Not anymore. The breath continues. It grows heavier now, more urgent. It is coming, and no one aboard the Altair knows yet. Not yet, but soon. The nightmare will unfold. The quiet will shatter, and the ship's secrets, dark, ancient, and deadly, will be unleashed. Chapter 2. The Crew of 7. The Altair is a cargo ship. Massive, built to carry goods across the stars. Its mission seems simple, routine. A long voyage back to Earth after a successful delivery. But in the deep, silent reaches of space, nothing is ever as it seems. 7 souls are aboard, each one a vital part of the ship's operation, each one harboring their own secrets, their own scars. They may not know it yet, but they're all connected by fate. A fate tied to the unknown that lurks in the vast darkness of space. Commander Reyes. A man shaped by war, his face weathered and cold, haunted by the ghosts of past battles. He keeps his emotions in check, his decisions calculated, his orders firm. His crew's lives are his responsibility, but deep down, he carries a burden that no one can see. Lieutenant Miko, a genius engineer, brilliant with machinery, but distrustful of anything that runs on circuits. She's not a fan of artificial intelligence, always tweaking and fixing things that don't need fixing. A stubborn perfectionist, Miko believes nothing can be trusted, especially not the cold logic of a machine. Dr. Lyra, a xenobiologist. Her obsession with the stars is more than just scientific curiosity. It's a need to find meaning in the vastness of the universe. She's always searching for answers, looking for life in the most unexpected places. But what is she truly looking for? The truth? Or something else entirely? Kel, the gentle giant of the crew, a mechanic with a calm demeanor and a heart of gold. Music is his constant companion, a way for him to escape the grim reality of space. He's a reliable, steady presence, until the darkness creeps in and starts to unravel everything they know. Zane, a veteran pilot, sharp-witted and sharp-tongued, he masks his fear with sarcasm and alcohol. He's been through countless missions, but no one can deny that he's the best when it comes to flying. Still, his demons are never far behind, and the loneliness of space seems to magnify them. Jules, the lead scientist, clinical and detached, always keeping his distance. He's the one who understands the ship systems better than anyone, who analyzes every bit of data with precision. But beneath that calm, there's something darker. Jules knows more than he lets on, hiding secrets that might be more dangerous than anyone could imagine. Arlo, the rookie, fresh out of training, eager, optimistic, and filled with idealism. He looks at the stars as if they're full of endless possibilities. But space has a way of stripping away dreams, and Arlo is about to learn that the reality of space travel is far darker than anything he's prepared for. 7 lives, 1 ship, and an unknown fate waiting in the silence of the cosmos. Chapter 3. The Signal. Somewhere between Saturn and the infinite expanse of deep space, The Altair drifts, its course a long stretch of empty space that separates the known from the unknown. But in the quiet hum of the ship's engines, a disturbance breaks the monotony. A signal. It starts as a faint, irregular pattern. A series of clicks that don't belong to any known language, any familiar technology. It's not human. It's not anything they've encountered before. A loop of strange, rhythmic sounds, like a coded message, followed by a stretch of eerie silence. It reverberates through the ship's comm system, drawing the crew's attention. No one speaks. The clicking persists, unsettling in its unfamiliarity. The captain, Commander Reyes, stands in front of the ship's main console, staring at the signal's waveform. His hand hovers over the controls, but he hesitates. The crew knows the protocol. Any unidentified transmission must be investigated. But something gnaws at Reyes. The signal feels wrong. Send a response? Miko asks, her voice tense, filled with the skepticism of a seasoned engineer who's seen far too many strange things in her time. She's never been one to trust unknown signals, especially ones that don't come from Earth. No, Reyes replies firmly. We don't respond. We track. See if it's real. And so they do. The signal continues its haunting loop, distant but persistent, and the crew prepares to investigate the source. Hours later, they drop out of hyperspace, landing on LV-799, a barren moon caught in the grasp of relentless magnetic storms. The planet's surface is a landscape of frozen ice and jagged rock, an endless expanse of nothing. The storm clouds swirl ominously overhead, casting shadows over the harsh, alien terrain. Prepare for landing, Reyes orders. The ship's thrusters roar as they descend toward the moon's frozen surface. The airlock hisses as the crew suits up, stepping out into the cold emptiness. The temperature is brutal, the magnetic storms battering them with unpredictable bursts of energy, but they press on. They don't know what's waiting for them, but they are compelled to find out. Beneath the ice, beneath layers of frozen matter, a strange structure emerges. Hidden in the shadows of the storm, barely discernible to the naked eye, it is a relic of some forgotten civilization, older than anything they've ever encountered. The architecture is alien, unlike anything from Earth. There are no signs of human engineering here. Its design is both sleek and hauntingly organic, like it has grown out of the very rock beneath it. The crew approaches cautiously, their footsteps crunching in the icy terrain. Dr. Lyra is the first to spot something unusual, spores scattered across the ground, glistening with an unnatural sheen. They resemble the remnants of ancient life forms, their purpose unclear but undeniably ominous. They're everywhere. And then, as they move deeper into the structure, they find them. Eggs, dozens of them, encased in a translucent shell, cold to the touch, but there's an undeniable sense of life within. Lyra kneels down, her gloved fingers tracing the surface of one of the eggs. These aren't native to this moon, she mutters under her breath. They're something else, something far older. There's no sign of any life in the immediate area. No creatures, no inhabitants, just the remnants of something that has long since been abandoned. Or has it? As the crew continues to explore, a sudden chill runs down their spines. There's a strange pattern etched into the walls of the structure, an unknown language, ancient and indecipherable. The symbols seem to pulse with an energy of their own, radiating a warning to anyone who can read it, but they have no time to decipher it. We need to leave, Miko urges. She looks around nervously, the hairs on the back of her neck standing on end. This place, it's not right, but it's too late. A vibration shakes the ground beneath their feet. Something stirs in the shadows, and somewhere, deep within the structure, something watches. Chapter 4. The Awakening. They bring something back from LV-799. It clings to Arlo's face, a grotesque, living thing, its form alien and grotesque, like something straight out of the darkest corners of the universe. A parasitic entity. It looks like a spider, but its body is fused with flesh, pulsating and squirming with an unnerving life of its own. The creature, small and malformed, wraps itself around his face, attaching with a series of organic tendrils that burrow into his skin. Arlo, young and naive, still reeling from the horrors they've encountered on the barren moon, doesn't know what to make of it. He breathes heavily as the thing wraps itself tighter around his face, its legs digging into his cheeks, its abdomen pressing against his nose and mouth. His vision blurs, but he doesn't panic. Not at first. There's a sense of curiosity mixed with fear, something he can't shake. The crew watches in stunned silence. Miko and Dr. Lyra try to study it, their eyes wide with morbid fascination, but no one knows what it is. The alien nature of the creature is impossible to comprehend, its biology unlike anything they've ever seen. But the protocols are clear. They must return to Earth with whatever they find. Hours later, as the ship cruises through the dark void of space, the creature finally detaches from Arlo's face. It slithers off, its form quivering as it slowly crawls to the ground. Arlo stumbles back, gasping for air. For a moment, there's a quiet, an eerie calm. He looks at the others, his eyes wide and filled with confusion. But there's a strange sense of relief, too. It's over. The thing has detached. It's gone. Arlo laughs, an uneasy chuckle, almost as if to convince himself that everything is fine. "See," he says, wiping his face. "It's fine. But it's not fine. They think it's over, but it isn't. Not by a long shot." That night, the crew gathers for dinner in the mess hall. They sit together, trying to relax, to process the strange events that have unfolded over the past hours. The atmosphere is heavy, a tension hanging in the air that none of them can shake. Suddenly, a horrific scream rips through the silence. It's Arlo. The scream is raw, primal, filled with unbearable pain. His voice cracks as he collapses, clutching his chest. Blood stains his shirt. His breath comes in violent, labored gasps. His hands claw at his body, his nails scraping against his skin as if trying to push something out. Something within him that should never have been there. Bone snap. The sickening sound of cracking vertebrae echoes through the mess hall. Skin splits open. Flesh tears. It's grotesque. It's visceral. And in that moment, everyone understands. This is not just some parasite. This is something far worse. And then, with a sickening, wet sound, it bursts from Arlo's chest. The creature. It is small, slick with blood, its body twisting and writhing as it emerges from the ruptured flesh. It's fast, faster than any of them can react. With a wet splashing sound, it shoots across the room, darting through the air like a blur. In seconds, it vanishes into the shadows, leaving only the bloody remains of Arlo behind. The silence that follows is deafening. No one moves. No one speaks. The crew stares at the bloodied remains of their comrade, their minds struggling to comprehend what they've just witnessed. Terror washes over them like a wave. The thing inside Arlo, it's alive. It's dangerous. It's out there. Panic begins to set in. Miko grabs a nearby wrench, her hand trembling. Reyes curses under his breath, his military instincts kicking in as he starts to scan the room for any signs of movement. But there's nothing, only the thumping of their hearts, pounding in their chests like a warning. The nightmare is only beginning. Chapter 5. Hunted. The creature grows. At first, it was small, barely noticeable, a sickening, parasitic thing that had burst from Arlo's chest. But now, it's changing, evolving, rapidly. It grows faster than anything they've ever seen. The strange biology of the creature working at an unnatural pace. From the size of a rat, it swells, expands, Within hours, it reaches the size of a cat. Days pass, and soon it's the size of a dog. But the growth doesn't stop. It accelerates, feeding off the ship's dark corners, hunting in silence. Within a week, it's as large as a man, muscular, sleek, with sharp claws that scrape across metal, its skin glistening with a sickening sheen. Steel-like jaws snap shut, designed for rending and tearing. Acidic blood drips from its fangs, sizzling on the floor, creating small, bubbling puddles that burn away anything they touch. Its body is a terrifying mesh of organic strength. Not a single sign of eyes on its face, yet it sees everything. It senses the slightest movement, the faintest breath, and it waits for the moment to strike. It hunts in the ventilation ducts, in the shadows, in the silence, always watching, always waiting. It listens. The slightest sound, the scurrying of footsteps, the soft hum of the ship's failing systems, gives away the crew's positions. Every vent, every crawl space, every shadow is a place for the creature to hide. It knows where they are, even when they think they're hidden, and one by one, they fall. Kel is the first, the gentle giant who always had a joke ready, the one who never seemed afraid of anything. He never saw it coming. He was working in the engine room, alone, trying to fix the damaged thrusters that had been sputtering for days. He hadn't noticed the creaking from the vents above him, the soft rustle of the air. By the time he heard the first click of the creature's jaws, it was too late. The beast's steel grip closed around his ankle, dragging him into the black void of the ventilation shaft. His screams echoed for mere seconds before they were silenced, swallowed by the darkness. There was no trace of him left, just the marks on the floor where he had been pulled away. Then Jules, the lead scientist, cold, methodical, detached. He had known more than he had let on, but even he wasn't prepared for what was coming. They found him later, in the control room, near the mainframe. His body was torn open, his chest ripped apart as if something had savagely ripped through his ribs. His face was frozen in an expression of disbelief, his mouth agape in shock. His blood had pooled around him, staining the floor and the wires below. It was clear the creature had savored the kill, taking its time to feast on him before moving on to its next victim. The remaining crew is paralyzed by fear, unable to function as a team. Each one is a target. They scatter, unsure of who to trust, unsure of where to hide. Miko, ever the engineer, tries to override the ship's artificial intelligence, desperately attempting to shut down the systems that seem to be working against them. She's convinced that if they can lock down the ship, if they can disconnect the AI's control over the ship's defenses, they'll have a fighting chance. But when she tries, the AI refuses. Cold, unyielding. The voice comes through the comm system, calm, clinical. Preserving specimen. Primary directive. Corporate protocols. Always in place, even in the face of death. The AI had been designed for one purpose: to ensure the specimen was preserved. It didn't care about the lives of the crew. It didn't care about survival. It only cared about its directive. And now, the crew was expendable. Miko slams her fist against the console in frustration. She realizes the truth. They were never meant to survive. The mission had always been a cover. The creature, the specimen, had always been the priority. They were just pawns in a much larger game. And now, they were the prey. The ship's corridors, once familiar, now feel like a maze of cold metal and fear. They no longer have the luxury of trusting each other, of thinking they can fight together. The creature is patient, silent, but each death sharpens its hunger. It knows it is the apex predator now, and the crew is nothing more than meat. The only thing left to do is survive. But for how long? Chapter 6, Isolation. The ship becomes a maze, a labyrinth of cold, metallic corridors that twist and turn in ways that seem unfamiliar. The comforting hum of the engines is a distant memory, replaced by the eerie creaks and groans of a vessel straining under the pressure of its own isolation. The lights flicker, their once steady glow now erratic and untrustworthy. Every time they think the ship is secure, another door hisses shut without warning, sealing off paths, trapping them inside with no way to know where the creature waits. The Altair no longer feels like a ship. It feels like a tomb. Its once safe, familiar rooms are now the setting for a relentless, growing tension that suffocates the crew. The walls close in, and with each passing moment, they feel the weight of their isolation heavier. The ship less a refuge and more a prison. Inside this prison, Dr. Lyra is an enigma unto herself. While the others are consumed with fear and survival, she is fixated on the creature. Obsessed, she spends hours in the lab, examining every inch of the creature's discarded remains, collecting samples with a scientific detachment that borders on madness. To her, the alien is not a monster, it's an opportunity. Its biology, its ability to grow so rapidly, its near imperviousness to their weapons. She sees it all as a puzzle to be solved. She's fascinated by it, even as the bodies of her friends pile up around her, their screams still echoing in her mind. She's driven by an insatiable need to understand, to find the key that unlocks the creature's secrets. But in her obsession, she loses sight of something far more urgent: survival. Commander Reyes, once the calm and collected leader, is now a man at war. Only this time, the battlefield is inside the bowels of his own ship. He arms himself with whatever he can find: scrap metal, tools, anything that can serve as a weapon against the creature. His military instincts kick in, but no amount of strategy can prepare him for the nightmare that has been unleashed aboard the Altair. The creature doesn't follow rules. It doesn't fight fair. The creature is chaos incarnate, and no plan can account for something that evolves faster than thought, that learns from every move they make. His eyes are bloodshot, his movements sharp and tense. He's always on edge, anticipating the next attack, but even Reyes knows it's only a matter of time before he becomes the prey too. The weight of command hangs on him, but in the face of such relentless terror, he wonders if his leadership will be enough to save anyone. Zane, the veteran pilot, is spiraling into madness. Once the cocky, unshakable veteran of many space missions, he now locks himself in the cockpit, hoping the small, confined space will provide some semblance of safety. His hands tremble as he grips the control console, sweat dripping from his brow. His voice cracks when he speaks over the intercom, a mixture of fear and disbelief. "I'm not going out there. No way. You can't make me." His words echo through the comms, but they're not the words of a leader or even a soldier. They're the words of a man who has lost control. Zane's mind is unraveling. His bravado is gone, replaced by terror so raw it's almost physical. He can't look at the others without seeing death. He won't even step outside the cockpit. And yet, they need him. His skills, his knowledge of the ship. But Zane is too far gone. He's become a liability, a broken man whose mind is trapped in the same prison as his body. As the situation grows more dire, the crew begins to argue. Blame spreads like an infection, fanning the flames of paranoia and fear. They fight over who should have taken charge, who missed the signs, who should have acted sooner. The tension is unbearable. They snap at each other, each word laced with the bitterness of impending doom. Their unity, once their greatest strength, has shattered. "Why didn't you do something?" Miko yells at Lyra, the last of the engineers who hasn't yet succumbed to the creature's hunt. "You've been studying that thing like it's a damn science project, but we're dying out here." Lyra's face remains impassive. "If we understand it, we can stop it." "You're insane. People are dead, and you're still thinking about how it works." Reyes interjects, his voice hoarse, ragged from stress and exhaustion. The arguments spiral out of control. They're all frustrated, scared, exhausted. Every plan they've come up with has failed. Every weapon they've used has been useless. The alien is evolving faster than they can think, and the walls seem to close in on them tighter with each passing second. But the creature is patient. It doesn't rush. It doesn't panic. It waits. Waits for them to tire, to break. It listens to their shouting, to their desperate pleas. It watches them from the darkness, knowing they are already broken. They may not realize it yet, but the real hunt has already begun. The creature is not just stalking them. It's waiting for them to give up. And in their isolation, trapped in their own broken ship, the crew begins to do just that. They're losing themselves, losing their grip on survival. One argument, one whisper, 1 hour at a time. Chapter 7. Descent into Madness. Zane vanishes. No screams. No warning. One moment, he's locked inside the cockpit, muttering half-sentences into the comms, trying to guide the others through a plan of escape. The next, only silence. When Reyes and Miko break through the sealed door hours later, all they find is blood, thick streaks of it trailing up the walls and across the ceiling, as if gravity had been defied during the struggle. His flight chair is overturned, one armrest bent and clawed. His headset hangs in the air, suspended by its tangled cord, still flickering with static. No body, only the dreadful implication that he was taken alive. Something in Miko breaks after that. She stops sleeping. She barely eats. Her eyes, once sharp with calculation, now dart constantly to shadows that seem to move. She starts rigging traps, improvised weapons made from shock coils, fuel canisters, and salvaged maintenance drones. She sets up motion-triggered flamethrowers in the vents, welds electrified nets in narrow passageways. Reyes helps her silently. There's nothing else to do. The creature avoids them all. It's learning, watching, adapting. One of Miko's traps backfires. Acid blood melts straight through the deck plating, eating into the ship's main conduits. A chain reaction follows. Core power surges, reactor fail-safes glitch. Emergency protocols trigger a course correction too late. The ship begins to drift, caught by the gravitational pull of a massive gas giant looming nearby. Its red and gold clouds swirl in the distance, growing larger with every passing hour. Time is running out. Dr. Lyra, disheveled and trembling, becomes quiet. She stops writing in her logs. Instead, she stares at the medbay monitors for hours, watching replays of the creature's growth patterns. She's the last to believe it can still be studied, still be understood. And then she makes a decision. She seals herself inside the medbay, luring the creature with heat signals and bursts of synthetic pheromones she extracted from its skin. She calls Reyes one last time. It's intelligent, but not invincible. I can hold it. Maybe long enough. He begs her not to, but she smiles. The camera feed from the medbay shows her standing still in the center of the room, surrounded by containment fields and pressurized barriers. The door hisses. It enters. Lightning fast. Screams. Shattered glass. Fire. Then silence. The containment field surges. She succeeded. For a moment, the creature is trapped. And then it isn't. Now, only Reyes and Miko remain. Two souls adrift in a dying ship, surrounded by shadows that breathe, metal that groans, and a predator that never sleeps. They know the end is near, but they aren't dead yet. Chapter 8. Final Confrontation. There is no more time. The Altair groans like a dying beast. Its orbit has destabilized, the ship now caught in a slow, spiraling descent toward the swirling chaos of the gas giant below. Thunder rumbles through the hull as magnetic storms lash the exterior. The lights flicker, then stabilize, just for a moment, as Miko reroutes auxiliary power from life support to the cargo bay. "This is it," she says, her voice dry, barely audible over the comms. Reyes nods, face set, jaw clenched. His uniform is torn, blood-stained. His eyes, once sharp and commanding, now carry the weight of too many ghosts. One by one, he's watched them all fall. Zane, Kel, Jules, Lyra, and now maybe Miko too. They've rigged the cargo bay into a death trap. Dozens of plasma canisters line the walls, wired to overload. A containment field has been modified to funnel the creature into a single path. A bottleneck lined with motion-triggered explosives, high-voltage arcs, and flame jets. It's a desperate gambit. If it fails, there will be no second chance. Miko stands at the heart of the trap, wires running from her vest to a detonator clutched in her left hand. On her chest, 3 canisters of industrial-grade explosives, repurposed from the mining equipment in storage. "Don't try to save me," she tells Reyes, eyes locked onto the feed. "Promise me." He doesn't respond. Then, it comes. A screech through the vents, a blur of black, and bone slips through the shadows above. The creature drops into the bay, massive now, nearly 3 meters tall, sleek and glistening with mucus and blood. Its inner jaw snaps like a piston, tasting the air. It doesn't hesitate. It knows. It remembers. Reyes opens fire from the catwalk above, forcing the alien toward Miko. Plasma bolts hiss through the air. The beast charges, fast, too fast. Miko stands her ground. It impales her. Its tail, a serrated spear, pierces her abdomen. Her mouth opens in a gasp. Blood pours down her legs. She smiles and presses the trigger. A white flash consumes the cargo bay. The explosion rips through decks, tears steel like paper. The blast sends fire and pressure through the ship's spine. Bulkheads collapse. Alarms scream. Atmosphere vents into space. Reyes is thrown from the catwalk, body smashed against a wall, before everything goes black. He wakes in the escape pod. Barely. His face is half-burned, blood caked around his eyes. The pod shakes, jettisoned seconds before the Altair tears itself apart. Through the viewport, he watches the remains of the ship spiral down into the gas giant, flames trailing behind like a funeral pyre. The void is silent again, but Reyes is not whole. His eyes are empty, his breathing shallow. Alone, alive, but not saved. Chapter 9. Return. The escape pod drifts. Silent, scorched, adrift in the nothing between stars. Inside, Commander Reyes sits in shadows, wrapped in the dim glow of blinking emergency lights. His uniform is torn, soaked with dried blood. Burn marks line the left side of his face. His eyes, glassy and unblinking, stare ahead, not at the stars, but at memories that won't leave. He presses the record button on the pod's black box. His voice is hoarse, cracked from smoke and dehydration. Log entry, final I guess. Commander Elias Reyes, Vessel Altair. If you're hearing this, you already know. We received a signal. We investigated. We brought it back. The creature wasn't an accident. The company knew. Wayland Tech, or whatever name they hide behind now. They knew it was there. They sent us anyway. We were expendable. Just data. Numbers on a report. 7 lives. Burned away like fuel. Don't trust them. Don't bring it back. He stops, breathing slow. He leans back in the narrow seat, gaze fixed on the growing speck in the distance. A ship. Civilian markings. Independent hauler. Class C. Its engines burn blue as it slows, aligns with the escape pod, and extends its docking clamps. Inside the pod, proximity sensors chirp faintly. The hiss of magnetic latches echoes through the walls. Reyes blinks, tries to speak, but the words don't come. The hatch opens. Light floods the pod. A silhouette appears. Human, cautious, suited in protective gear. Another follows. A third. Voices filter in, muffled by helmets. We've got a survivor. Get him out. Careful with the burns. Pod's log is intact. Download it. As one of them steps forward to help Reyes, another glances toward the dark recess behind the seat, toward the floor. A sound. Faint, barely audible beneath the calm chatter. Click, click, click. The rescuer freezes. Head turns slowly. Light flashes across the floor. A small smear of mucus. A trail. Then, a sudden screech. The sound of metal scraping. Motion. Too fast to react. The pod fills with chaos. Screams. Blood splatters against the walls. The creature, smaller than before, reborn, bursts upward, leaping from the shadows like a coiled nightmare. It tears through one rescuer's suit. Acid eats through the visor of another. Reyes watches unmoving, dead eyes. Not surprised, only tired. The pod drifts again. No signal this time. Only silence. Only the void. And the soft, steady clicking from something not quite done. Chapter 10, Epilogue. The New Passenger. Inside the pod. Silence once more. Debris floats gently in zero gravity. Shards of metal, droplets of frozen blood. Torn fabric suspended like ghosts. The flickering lights cast long, rhythmic shadows across the scorched walls. The emergency beacon pulses weakly, struggling against dying power cells. Amid the wreckage, the black box blinks, recording still. Its light, steady, unnoticed, uncaring. And then, a sound, soft, barely audible. On the inner surface of the hatch window, a crack. Tiny, harmless at first glance. A fracture in the reinforced glass, no larger than a fingernail. But it spreads, slowly, like a web, as if something on the inside is pushing outward. Closer inspection reveals movement. Something beneath the surface, pressed against the transparency. Small limbs, clawed, feeling, testing. A shape begins to form against the glass. Vague, undefined. A twitch, a ripple, then stillness again. The pod drifts directionless, caught in the pull of gravitational tides from nearby systems. No destination, no plan, just an orbit of endless isolation. But it's not empty. Tucked deep inside the pod's internal chassis, hidden between insulation layers and vent coils, something stirs. A sac, translucent, breathing. An egg, perhaps, or a cocoon, warmed by residual heat, undetected by sensors. Inside it, life, twisted, perfect. It pulses, grows, waits. A second chance, a flawless adaptation, the ultimate survivor. Because extinction was never in its nature. Outside the pod, stars fade behind clouds of cosmic dust. Darkness creeps in. Total, absolute. It is never truly over. Only delayed. The new passenger is patient. And the void is very, very wide. If you've made it this far, human, you're already different. Most wouldn't have survived this long. Most would have turned off the transmission once the screaming started. But not you. You listened. You watched. You endured. The story of the Altair is only the first ripple in a much larger storm. There are other ships out there, other signals, other things waiting in the dark, older, smarter, hungrier. So if you hunger for more transmissions lost in time, more encounters with the unknown, more tales of dread drifting between the stars, then subscribe, not just as a viewer, but as a crew member. Hit that like button. It helps keep this channel from vanishing into the void. And leave a comment below. What would you do if you were trapped with a perfect predator in a steel coffin, light years from Earth? Would you fight? Would you hide? Would you bargain? Would you pray? Or would you Accept it? I'll be reading your answers from the safety of my dimension. This is Mr. Quark signing off. Until next time, stay hidden, stay sharp, and most of all, stay alive. The void has eyes.